There was a time in the life of Eckhart Tolle, author of The Power of Now, when he fell into deep despair. Every day his mind was consumed by chaotic thoughts, endless worries about the past and the future. He felt lost, alone, and miserable. Then one night, in a state of near mental exhaustion, he woke up in the middle of the night with a profound realization. All his suffering, all his insecurities, stemmed from living in his mind, not in the present. He realized that his mind was constantly telling him a story, pulling him out of the present moment, and that was what was making him miserable. That was the moment he woke up for the first time, a life-changing moment. From there, Eckhart Tolle began his journey of learning how to return to the now, with each breath, each feeling in the present moment, instead of being stuck in the past or worrying about the future. And it was that awakening that opened a new door for him, the door to true peace, freedom, and happiness. We often think of time as a continuum from the past through the present and then on to the future. But Eckhart Tolle shows us a different truth. There are two kinds of time we experience: psychological time and real time. Psychological time is when our minds are constantly returning to the past with regrets, or looking to the future with worries and uncertain hopes. This is the time when the mind is caught up in a story, disconnecting us from the present moment. Real time, on the other hand, is the only moment that exists now. This is when we truly live, feel, and experience life. Toll emphasizes, most of us live mostly in psychological time, so we often miss out on the most precious gift, the present. This leaves us feeling stressed, anxious, and never truly satisfied. Only by learning to pay attention and immerse ourselves in real time, in each breath, each present moment, can we find true peace. In every person's mind, there is a narrator who never stops. It constantly talks, judges, compares, evaluates. The stories it tells are usually about you. You didn't do well enough. You didn't achieve what you wanted. You need to try harder. Eckhart Tolle calls this narrator the ego, the part of the mind that constructs your self-image, the labels, roles, and identities you assign to yourself. The ego is not who you really are, but it controls so much of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It keeps you stuck in worries about the future, regrets about the past, and fears of being judged and rejected. The important thing that Eckhart Tolle wants you to realize is, you are not that voice. You are not the ego. You are the observer of that voice, the outsider, watching the thoughts and emotions as they pass by without getting caught up in them. When you can separate yourself from the storyteller in your head, you will feel lighter and freer. The voice in your head will still be there, but it will no longer have control over you. You will not be led by it into meaningless fears or anger. Try observing the voice in your head as a stranger passing by. Listen to it, but do not get caught up in it. Do not argue or react. Gradually, you will find silence and peace within, and that is the first step to living fully in the present, no longer entangled in old stories and prejudices about yourself. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your own thoughts? They are like a stream that flows endlessly, constantly sweeping you away, making you forget where you really are. Eckhart Tolle reminds us that there is a silent observer within you, a part of you that is not affected by those chaotic streams of thoughts. That observer is a deep, peaceful part that is not swayed by what is happening in your head. Imagine yourself standing outside the rushing water, observing the flow but not being swept away by it. You are not reacting, not being pulled, simply witnessing everything that is happening. When you realize that you are not your thoughts and emotions, but the observer, you begin to have the necessary distance to not be swept away by negative emotions, not being controlled by the ego. That distance is freedom. You begin to see things more objectively, more gently, and more calmly. You are no longer tormented by the past, no longer worried about the future. And from there, you can return to the present, where you can truly live, feel, and be happy. Have you ever noticed that when you pay full attention to something, a song you love, a flower you see, or simply your own breathing, you feel a strange sense of peace? Eckhart Tolle calls this presence, a state of being completely present in the here and now, not caught up in thoughts of the past or the future. When you live in the present, you no longer worry about what might happen, nor do you obsess over past mistakes. Fears and insecurities disappear because they only exist in the moments when you are not present. Presence is like a bright light in the darkness of the mind. It illuminates every hidden corner, helping you realize your true nature. Not your thoughts, not your emotions, but the life that flows through you. You can start practicing presence by focusing on your breath, feeling each breath as it goes in and out. When you are busy or tired, take a few seconds to come back to yourself, to this moment. It is not a difficult skill, but a gift you can give yourself every day. There is a very simple but extremely powerful miracle that Eckhart Tolle emphasizes. The breath is the connection that brings you back to the present moment. When you feel your mind drifting, when thoughts and worries come, just stop. Close your eyes and focus on each breath in and out. Feel the gentle flow of air entering your nose full of life, then leaving your body with all the stress and fatigue. The breath is a faithful companion that never leaves you. It is always there, right inside you, no matter where you are or what the situation is. When you pay attention to your breath, you are returning to yourself, returning to life that is happening right now. No past, no future, just the only moment you really have. Breath is like a simple nature. No need to learn many complicated techniques. Just take the time to be aware of it. And that very moment will open the door for you to deep inner peace. In a noisy and hurried world, people often seek sounds, words, or information to fill the gap. But Eckhart Tolle reminded that sometimes what people really need is silence. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. It was a moment when all thoughts slowed down, and people could only feel the rhythm of life. When people sit still without phone, no music, no work, people will start hearing another, the voice of life. It was the sound of heartbeat, steady breathing, and the warm feeling was spreading in the chest. Silence does not make people lose anything. On the contrary, it returns to everyone. Wisdom, awakening, and the ability to listen to themselves. Take a few minutes a day to silence. Do not try to do anything. Do not try to think. Only present. And then people will realize silence is the language that the universe uses to chat with people. One of the things Eckhart Tolle emphasized is accepting is the beginning of freedom. This does not mean that people have to like or agree with all that is happening, but not to resist reality. When people oppose what has been happening, the feeling of discomfort, frustration, or suffering will only be bigger. But when people breathe deeply, look directly at the situation and said, "This is the reality of the present, and I'm ready to face," a peaceful space will open. Except not to turn people into a passive person. On the contrary, it helps people act more wise because people are no longer caught up in the whirlpool of anger or anxiety. From that calm state, people will see what the next step should be done. Try once when you have difficulty, instead of asking yourself, "Why does this happen to you?" Zrenya, try asking, "Please, now how can I accept this?" Only a small change in the view, people will find their minds slightly away. Many people think that letting go is abandoning, is weak. But Eckhart Tolle pointed out that letting go is one of the most powerful actions that people can do. Let go does not mean that people leave everything, but stop trying to control things out of reach. When people keep clinging to a situation, a relationship, or a result, the mind will always be in a state of stress and anxiety. But when people say to themselves, "I accept everything that happens as it is," then a miracle happened. A feeling of relief crept throughout the soul. Let go is not lost, but to create a space for good things to enter. Like when dropping a rock into the river, it will immediately sink and disappear from the eye, so that the water will be clear and calm. Let go too. It returns the clarity to everyone's mind. Eckhart Tolle said that the past is just a memory. The future is just imagination. The only thing people really have, right now, is the present moment. When people are in the past, they will often regret or sad. When people are worried about the future, they will often feel anxious or insecure. But at this moment, as soon as people realize they were breathing, feeling the breeze, listening to the surrounding sound, all of these burdens disappear. Currently do not require people to be perfect, nor requires people to have answers to all issues. It only invites people to experience this moment, as if this is the most valuable gift. Try putting your hand on your heart, feeling beating, and whispering, "I'm here. I'm still alive." And that's enough. At that time, people will understand. Peace has never been far away. It is always in this moment. In the hustle and bustle of life, people often only listen to answer, not really listen to understand. Eckhart Tolle reminded that deep listening is not only to use ears, but also to expand the whole heart. When people listen without judgment, no words, and do not rush to find solutions, one miracle happens. The opposite person will feel the presence and emotion of everyone. It was an invisible but invisible gift. Deep listening also helps people hear the voice inside them. Those are true emotions, silent desires, and things that people have long ignored in the noise of life. Try one day when someone talks, focusing on each word, each of their breath. No judgment, no reaction, only fully present. And then people will see it is that listening that has changed the relationship and yourself. Eckhart Tolle said that all the pain that people carry not only came from the situation, but also from the way people react to it. A sad memory, a heart wound, or a loss, all can become a burden if people keep hugging and homogeneous with them. But when people look at the pain, observe it without judging, not trying to push away, a miracle will happen. The pain starts to melt. Not because it disappeared immediately, but because people were no longer controlled by it. Awareness is like a light shining on the darkness. The darkness cannot fight with light, it only disappears. Also, when people bring the light of awareness to the hidden corners in the soul, the healing begins. Healing is not forgotten, but to live without letting the past define itself. And from that moment, people will realize peace has been here for a long time, just waiting for people to smile and step in. Life is full of stressful moments, an important meeting, a family conflict, or unexpected bad news. In these moments, people's natural response is often to tense their muscles. Their hearts race, and their minds race through a series of what-if scenarios. Eckhart Tolle suggests a simple trick. Return to the present through breathing. When an emotional storm arises, just stop, take a deep breath, and feel each breath coming in and out. Don't try to push the thought away, just observe it like you would a cloud in the sky. Surprisingly, when people stop resisting, strong emotions naturally subside. Peace is not the absence of storms, but standing firm in the midst of them. And when people practice this repeatedly, they will find themselves no longer being swept away by circumstances. Instead, people become mindful observers and thereby make more informed choices. Many people think that happiness only comes when they achieve a big goal, a dream job, a luxury vacation, or a large sum of money. But Eckhart Tolle reminds us that true happiness lies in the simple moments right in front of us. It could be the warmth of the morning sun on our skin, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the aroma of coffee wafting through a small kitchen, or simply the look in someone's eyes that shows understanding and love. When people are truly present, these small things come alive and full of life. No need to wait for a special day. Every day can be a gift. And then people will realize peace is not a destination, but a path. And joy is right there in every step. People often believe that if they could control everything, their jobs, other people, their future, they would feel more secure and happy. But the truth is, the more they try to control, the more anxious and exhausted they become. Eckhart Tolle says that control is an illusion. Life is inherently volatile, and any attempt to hold on only makes your arms more tired. Letting go does not mean giving up or being indifferent, but rather allowing things to happen as they are. Instead of trying to force the river to flow your way, let yourself go with it, but stay alert to steer when needed. When people let go of control, a sense of relief spreads throughout their bodies. The mind is no longer haunted by a series of ifs and musts, but instead is filled with trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life. And then people will find themselves living more freely, as light as a leaf in the wind, but still always right where they need to be. Fear, a powerful emotion that can cause people to freeze, run away, or act in ways they don't want to. But Eckhart Tolle points out that fear only exists in the mind when people are out of the present moment. When people are busy worrying about the future, imagining the bad things that could happen, fear multiplies. Conversely, when people are fully focused on the here and now, fear begins to dissolve. A simple way to do this is to pay attention to your breath, feeling the life that is present in each breath. Right now, people are safe. Nothing can threaten the present moment. It is the only place where people can truly be alive. The power of the present moment is the power to calm fear, to illuminate the path through the darkness. When people practice presence, fear loses its power, and courage begins to grow. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward in spite of fear. And now is the surest place to start. Many people seek freedom externally. Financial freedom, time freedom, freedom to travel. But Eckhart Tolle points out that true freedom does not come from external things, but from an internal state. This freedom is when people are no longer bound by negative thoughts, emotions, or fears. When people can live without being controlled by the ego, no longer being shaken by things beyond their control, that is true freedom. Living with internal freedom does not mean giving up responsibility or not caring about life. On the contrary, it is a peaceful state of mind, able to face all challenges with calmness and clarity. When people find internal freedom, life becomes lighter and more meaningful. No longer dominated by the past or the future, people live each moment to the fullest, and from there, happiness is no longer a distant dream. Life doesn't always go according to plan. There are often unexpected changes, surprises, or challenges. Eckhart Tolle reminds us that resistance to those changes only prolongs suffering. But when people learn to go with the flow of life, like a leaf floating down a river, their souls will be much more peaceful. Going with the flow doesn't mean that people have to agree or adapt to everything, but rather accept change and transformation as an inevitable part of life. When people are in harmony, they will feel the softness and flexibility in their souls. Everything that happens, good or bad, becomes a valuable lesson, helping people grow and develop. Try to relax, let go of rigidity, and let the natural flow of life lead the way. People will realize that this is the way to live a more complete and meaningful life every day. Life is always changing, nothing is fixed forever. This sometimes makes people feel insecure, anxious, or afraid. Eckhart Tolle teaches that when people do not resist changes, but learn to accept and even embrace them, peace will appear. Instead of seeing changes as challenges or losses, see them as opportunities to regenerate, to renew yourself in your life. Whether it is the end of a phase or the beginning of a new journey, everyone can find inner peace if they keep an open mind and a generous heart. By looking at things with flexibility and compassion, people will feel a calm flow, no matter how turbulent the outside world is. After a long journey of learning and experiencing, Eckhart Tolle affirms a simple but profound thing. Only the present moment truly exists, a priceless gift that everyone always has in their hands. No matter how many ups and downs life has, no matter how many worries about the past or the future, as long as people return to the now, to the breath, to the feeling, to the presence, everything will become clearer and lighter. The present is where people can find peace, happiness, and the strength to live life to the fullest. Remember, every present moment is a gift. When people open their hearts to receive it, life will become more beautiful, more meaningful, and full of love. And that is the final message that the power of now wants to send to everyone. Live each moment fully so that life is truly yours. Eckhart Tolle is one of the most famous spiritual thinkers and authors of the 21st century. Born in Germany and struggling with difficult mental states for many years, he found enlightenment through a profound experience of the present moment, the only moment in which humans truly live. The power of now is not only the crystallization of his personal journey, but also an inspiration to millions of people around the world who are searching for peace and meaning in modern life. He emphasizes that true happiness and freedom do not come from outside, but from being aware and present in every moment of life. Through simple but profound words, Eckhart Tolle has opened a door for anyone who wants to escape the cycle of thinking and worrying to live a fuller, more meaningful life.